Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome, one and all. I am super grateful that you have joined me today on what is, for me, a super interesting day. So, let me tell you what I just experienced this morning. It's something I've never experienced before in my, 5 years of spiritual exploration. And really, I could say my whole life, although my spiritual exploration when I was younger, I was part of a very Catholic family, going to Catholic church, Catholic school, and learning that angle. And I always had my own questions and did my own seeking as I got older, which led me to so many different other religions. And I like to explore them all. And I would say now I don't have a religion that I would ascribe to at all. If I did, I would have my own name for it, and that would be love. And that's it. Love is really my religion. I think they all have really wonderful concepts, and the truth is in all of them. It's just told through different perspectives. And one of the religions or traditions that I like to study is the Hindu tradition. And I really, really love the book, the Upanishads. The Upanishads has some really, really wonderful information, and I'm actually going to share a little bit with you today after I tell you what happened. So I've been meditating every morning, as I do. I got off my horse there for a little while, but I've gotten back on. And as I always say, it's a game changer. It is absolutely necessary. And also, I've been going through some personal physical things, some experiences with my body that have been uncomfortable. And I know that when the body is doing these things, it is your spirit trying to give you a message. In my case, slapping me so stinking hard that I am forced to look at it, to really examine it. And I've been doing that over the last couple weeks and uncovering layer by layer by layer. And it's been a wonderful process. I'm learning a lot. I'm empowering myself and healing myself along the way, which is wonderful because the only true healing that we can actually do is from within. There is nothing outside of us, no technique, no tool, no pill, no nada, that can do it without your participation, without your spirit's participation, without your mind's participation, and also without your body's participation. Healing happens within you. You are the gadget. Remember that. There is no tool or technique greater than you. You are it. And when you start working with yourself in this way, you start to learn how to do it and how to really get it, how to really empower yourself in this way. Because none of the things that happen to our physical body are happening to us. And believe me, when I started going through this, I was like, why is this happening to me? And then I quickly checked myself and said, why is this happening for me? And I got a lot of reasons. And one of them that helps me to really say, all right, it's okay then, is so that I can help people better. The more that I go through things, the more that I experience, and the more that I am able to heal and learn how to do this for myself, the better that I can help others. And so for me, that's great motivation. And I say, all right, cool, I can handle it then. At the same time, I have my own lessons to learn. I have my own refinements that need to be made. And in my case, I get it conceptually. I know a lot of us conceptually get what we're supposed to get, or maybe we don't, but maybe we're getting there. In my case, I got it conceptually, but the deal is I wasn't doing the doing. For me, it's actually now that step of, all right, you get it, but you actually have to do something about it. And so, as I've been working through this, I sat in meditation this morning and I had my very first kundalini awakening experience ever. And holy cow, I've had experiences in meditation before in different energetic spaces, doing breath work, doing Reiki energy treatments, craniosacral, QHHT sessions, being in trance, doing whatever, all of these things. And this was something else entirely. And I've even had those experiences in meditation where I would get a bliss hit. And what I mean by that is like just an overwhelming feeling of love and joy and peace and all of it in the same moment. And it's just this overwhelming, beautiful feeling that every time that ever happened to me made me cry, and it just filled me up with so much love and light. But still, this experience this morning was so different than that. And the way that I got there, I just, drifted off into my quiet space and saw myself as just a spark, an infinite spark of the Creator. And I saw all of these different layers of that essentially in the nothingness. And I saw it in the nothingness, and then I watched it grow and expand. And I saw myself as that. And I really just sat in that knowingness of, this is who we are. This is who we all are. There is only one of us here. We have all been created from the same source, from the same spark of light. And so that's all that exists. And that is what is within us. And so as I was having these remembrances this morning, what I did was I decided to put that spark, imagine that spark, in my root chakra. I wanted to put that foundation of knowingness within my foundational chakra. And so I did that. And what I experienced next was just intense. So energetically, I could literally feel my chakra just igniting. And what it made me think of was the ignition of fire. The ignition of fire is talked about in alchemy, in the Corpus Hermeticum, and so many different magical workings. And I always conceptually kind of understood it, but today I experienced it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to put this in words to properly explain it, because I'm not sure it's possible to really be able to explain it with words. But what it felt like was this ignition of this spark of light right in my root. And that spark then grew and grew and grew and just ignited up my entire system, lit up my heart. And from that place, I mean, again, I'm not explaining it properly. It was intense. I had to breathe through it. It was like with each breath, it went up each energy system and got brighter and brighter and more intense. And I could literally feel it in my body. And I came out of this and I still feel like this, wide-eyed. Like the world is a different place. Like I am a different person. Because what I was then shown was this aspect of myself fully empowered, wise, knowing that this is who I am, that this is who we all are, and that there is no hierarchy here in any way, because we are all this same exact light. And so what was very interesting at the end, the final message that came through was that they said to me, you are, and when I say they, that's my internal guidance. When I do work, I call upon all of these aspects of myself to help me and to guide me and to communicate with me so I can understand. And in this place of meditation is where I get my understanding, and I ask for messages. And I've been doing this for so long that I've got my techniques down, and I understand how it feels and how I can trust it, because it's never wrong. And so I've learned to trust it. And of course, doubt can still creep in, but I've also learned how to squelch that. And so it's a fun little process. And so what my final message was you are a tree eternally existing. And this is a message that has come through so many times. It's actually in the Upanishads. And it comes through many, many times. And the image of it comes through. And what they're trying to show is that all of us are like a tree eternally existing. Every single one of us and our minds, it's like it goes on like a fractal. Every little aspect of us is like this tree. We have this very strong trunk where we have our power, and we have these roots that also grow down into the ground, connecting with all of the other roots and microorganisms, communicating with each other, communing with each other, helping each other, living together in symbiosis. And then our branches grow wide, touching the sky, growing and reaching whatever potential we want to reach. Every single one of us is this tree. And so when I came out of my meditation, I thought, obviously, I'm going to tell you guys about this today because this was just, wow, really, really cool. And all of us can do this. It is within all of us. That fire is within you. That is what you are made of. That spark of nothingness is fire. And it's interesting that the fire has been demonized over the centuries, right? All of these very powerful spiritual concepts, like the femininity, for example, which is a symbol of our intuition, our ability to look within, to be receptive of these things, that has also been demonized. And for the fire to be demonized, it's like, wow, that's an interesting one, because that is how we ignite our power. And so I wanted to share this concept of the ignition of fire with you guys today. And so I looked up, of course, in some of my books, the Upanishads and the Corpus Hermeticum. And I can't even believe the page that I opened up and what it said. And so I'm going to share that with you. So first, from the Corpus Hermeticum, and keep in mind, this is written so long ago. And I'm going to read it exactly the way it says. So bear in mind, there's a lot of doth in there. And also, take it as you take it to mean what you think it means, because it's written in that way for that purpose so that you have your own perspective of what it means. And so it's interesting. It comes from it's chapter 10 in the Corpus Hermeticum called The Key. And it's verse 18. When the mind doth free itself from the earth body, it straightway putteth on its proper robe of fire, which it could not dwell in an earthly body. For earth doth not bear fire, for it is all set in a blaze even by a small spark. And for this cause is water poured around the earth, to be a guard and wall, to keep the blazing of the fire away. But mind, the swiftest thing of all divine outthinkings, and swifter than all elements, hath for its body fire. For the mind, being builder, doth use the fire as tool for the construction of all things, the mind of all, for the construction of all things, but that of man only for things on earth. Stripped of its fire, the mind on earth cannot make things divine, for it is human in its dispensation. Interesting, right? So think about everything I just said and take that for whatever you take it to mean, and understand that when these elements are used, they mean many, many, many things. Also, the robe of fire. The robe is something that I see in my meditations a lot. And it is essentially my spiritual garment that I use to do this work, to go into my mind and go within. And so now I want to share with you a bit of the Upanishads. And the Upanishads are the oldest scriptures in India. I'm going to read from this very first book called Katha, which begins with, "The secret of immortality is to be found in purification of the heart, in meditation, in realization of the identity of the self within and Brahman without, for immortality is union with God." And the part of this chapter, or this book that I'm going to read, is actually called King of Death. The self-existent made the senses turn outward. Accordingly, man looks toward what is without and sees not what is within. Rare is he who, longing for immortality, shuts his eyes to what is without and beholds the self. Fools follow the desires of the flesh and fall into the snare of the all-encompassing death, but the wise, knowing the self as eternal, seek not the things that pass away. And I'm going to skip around a little bit to not read the entire first book. He who sees the firstborn, born of the mind of Brahma, born before the creation of waters, and sees him inhabiting the lotus of the heart, living among the physical elements, sees Brahman indeed. For this firstborn is the immortal self. That being who is the power of all powers, and is born as such, who embodies himself in the elements and in them exists, and who has entered the lotus of the heart, is the immortal self. Agni, the all-seeing, who lies hidden in fire sticks, like a child well guarded in the womb, who is worshipped day by awakened souls, and by those who offer obligations in sacrificial fire. He is the immortal self. That in which the sun rises and which it sets, that which is the source of all the powers of nature and of the senses, that which nothing can transcend, that is the immortal self. What is within us is also without. What is without is also within. He who sees the difference between what is within and what is without goes evermore from death to death. By the purified mind alone is the indivisible Brahman to be attained. Brahman alone is, nothing else is. He who sees the manifold universe and not the one reality goes evermore from death to death. That being, of the size of a thumb, dwells deep within the heart. He is the Lord of time, past and future. Having attained him, one fears no more. He verily is the immortal self. That being, of the size of a thumb, is like a flame without smoke. He is the Lord of time, past and future, the same today and tomorrow. He verily is the immortal self. As rain fallen on a hill streams down its side, so runs he after many births, who sees manifoldness in the self. As pure water poured onto pure water remains pure, so does the self remain pure. To the birthless, the light of whose consciousness forever shines, belongs the city of the 11 gates. The 11 gates is the body within its apertures, the eyes, ears, etc. He who meditates on the ruler of that city knows no more sorrow. He attains liberation, and for him there can no longer be birth or death, for the ruler of that city is the immortal self. The immortal self is the sun shining in the sky. He is the breeze blowing in space. He is the fire burning on the altar. He is the guest dwelling in the house. He is in all men. He is in the gods. He is in the ether. He is wherever there is truth. He is the fish that is born in water. He is the plant that grows in the soil. He is the river that gushes from the mountain. He, the changeless reality, the illimitable. That which is awake in us, even while we sleep, shaping in dream the objects of our desire, that indeed is pure, that is Brahman, and that verily is called the immortal. All the worlds have their being in that, and no one can transcend it. That is the self. As fire, though one takes the shape of every object which it consumes, so the self, through one, takes the shape of every object in which it dwells. As air, though one takes the shape of every object which it enters, so the self, though one, takes the shape of every object in which it dwells. As the sun, revealer of all objects to the seer, is not harmed by the sinful eye, nor the impurities of the objects it gazes on, so the one self, dwelling in all, is not touched by the evils of the world, for he transcends all. He is one, the Lord and innermost self of all. Of one form he makes himself many forms. To him who sees the self revealed in his own heart belongs eternal bliss. To no one else, to none else. Intelligence of the intelligent, eternal among the transient, he, though one, makes possible the desires of many. To him who sees the self revealed in his own heart belongs eternal peace, to none else. And when I turn the page, what I see here that comes next is this. Him the sun does not illuminate, nor the moon, nor the stars, nor the lightning, nor, verily, fires kindled upon the earth. He is the one light that gives light to all. He, shining, everything shines. This universe is a tree, eternally existing, its root aloft, its branches spread below. The pure root of the tree is Brahman, the immortal, in whom the three worlds have their being, whom none can transcend, who is verily the self. In one's own soul, Brahman is realized clearly, as if seen in a mirror. In the heaven of Brahman is also Brahman realized clearly, as one distinguishes light from darkness. In the world of the fathers, he is beheld as in a dream. In the world of angels, he appears as if reflected in water. So yeah, I kind of feel like my higher self just did kind of like a mic drop there. And here you go. Because when I open the Upanishads, I tab all my books because I do that. I'm a studier. I like to be able to go back and reference different concepts when they come up in my mind. And so it was really easy for me to go find where the fire was in the Upanishads because I just had it tabbed out as elements. And so I opened up to that page and found, okay, here's where the fire is, and this is what I wanted to share. And right before I turned on the mic, I turned the page and saw the universe is a tree, eternally existing. Exactly my final message of my meditation today. Mic drop, higher self. Thank you. Unbelievable. So I'm so happy to share this with you all, and I hope that sharing these concepts with you helps you to see it within yourself and to work with it within yourself. That is what we're all here to do, to see it, know it, believe it, and live it so that we can shine our light brighter and brighter so that we help everyone's light shine brighter. The brighter we are, the brighter we all are. We are trees eternally existing. I love you all so, so much. This has been super fun. I'm going to leave you with a song for today. This is Ayla Nerio from The Ground Up. Until next time, love you all.
Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
As a wave across the land, we are moving. Say no face the change these bodies make and the way they are, facing forward, shoulder to the stone, telling of moving. It takes one step, it takes your voice saying I am am not hearing if you are not naming it. I am not stopping if you are not changing it. Here are my hands, let's see what they're making. In the morning, in the rise up, there's a bridge from all that's been. In the dawning, the vines are pushing through the pavement. We were born of burning hearts. We are tearing off the reins. From the ground up, we will build it. From the clouds above, we'll rain it. From the crowd up, we will raise it. From the ground up. You hold the spade to turn new soil for the coming grace. You hold the plans. No hands but our hands will lead our children. All that will feed you is a fierce prayer, is a fierce prayer, saying, I am not hearing if you are not naming it. I am not stopping if you are not changing it. Here are my hands, let's see what they're making. In the morning, in the rise up, there's a bridge from all that's been. In the dawning, the vines are pushing through the pavement. We were born of burning hearts. We are tearing off the reins. From the ground up, we will build it. From the clouds above, we'll rain it. From the crowd up, we will raise it. From the ground up. In this life